This young woman suffered an assault that's hard to believe. Her ex-boyfriend bit off her lower lip.
He wanted to make me ugly so nobody would love me.
Kayla Hayes says Seth Fleury was her first serious boyfriend. She was 17. He was 21.
A romantic getaway, a tragic fire, and a mysterious death.
That teenager who shoved her friend off a 60-foot-high bridge will spend as much time in jail as her friend spent in the hospital. Attorneys thought they'd worked out a plea deal to keep the young woman out of jail, but the judge had another idea.
What seemed like an accidental blaze quickly turned into a chilling investigation that uncovered a web of lies.
Disagreement over child custody arrangements has ended in death. The argument escalated and a father was shot. The man who pulled the trigger says it was self-defense. We should warn you, the video is disturbing.
Secrets and a deadly plot. In Maryland's Serene St. Michael's, Steve Rico's death shook the community, but something didn't add up. Was it really a tragic accident, or was his wife Kim hiding a dark secret? With no signs of smoke in his lungs, and no traces of alcohol or drugs in his system, investigators were left with more questions than answers. What caused Steve's sudden death? Was there more to this fire than careless smoking? Stay with us as we uncover the disturbing truth behind one of the most calculated and sinister crimes. One that was almost covered up by a perfect alibi. Fatal blaze on the night of February 15, 1998. The quiet town of St. Michael's on Maryland's eastern shore was rocked by a tragic fire at a local resort. It was supposed to be a romantic Valentine's weekend getaway for 35-year-old Steve Rico and his wife Kim. But what began as a peaceful retreat ended in disaster. Around 1:30 a.m., the hotel clerk received a frantic call from Kim, reporting that their room was on fire. Emergency responders rushed to the scene, finding the fire confined to a single room. Despite their efforts, 35-year-old Steve Rico was already dead. His face had been burned beyond recognition. It appeared to be a tragic accident, until the investigation began. Kim, visibly distraught, explained that the couple had been drinking earlier, and Steve had become heavily intoxicated. She claimed that they had argued and she left to clear her head. When she returned, the room was engulfed in smoke, and Steve was lying lifeless in the bed. But there was more to this fire than met the eye. Investigators soon uncovered discrepancies that would lead them down a much darker path. Suspicious circumstances as the investigation continued, authorities noticed several red flags that didn't quite add up. The fire was thought to have started near the pillow where Steve Rico's head had been, but the origins of the blaze were unclear. There was no sign of a common cause, such as faulty wiring or a malfunctioning appliance. Investigators focused on the items in the room, hoping for answers. On the nightstand, they discovered a partially melted soft drink bottle. The plastic on the side facing the fire had softened, while the other side remained untouched. This odd pattern of melting indicated that the fire had originated in a very specific area, near Steve's pillow. But it didn't explain how it had started. A further search of the room uncovered a package of cigars, one of which was missing. It was a plausible explanation for the fire, but as investigators ruled out other potential causes, they began to consider the possibility of foul play. Why had Steve's body shown no signs of smoke inhalation? Why was there no soot in his lungs if he had been alive during the fire? The answers were starting to suggest something more sinister than a simple accident. Toxic evidence. The autopsy results raised even more questions. Despite the intense fire, Steve Rico's body showed no signs of soot or carbon monoxide in his lungs, suggesting he had stopped breathing before the room filled with smoke. This was inconsistent with the story Kim had told investigators. If Steve had been alive when the fire started, there should have been evidence of smoke inhalation. Blood tests revealed another shocking result. Steve had no alcohol in his system, contrary to Kim's claim that he had been drinking heavily. Additionally, no traces of the cold medication or antidepressants he was supposedly on were found in his body. It seemed that Steve had not been intoxicated at all when he died. These startling discoveries contradicted Kim's initial account of the events. The toxicology reports provided more chilling evidence. There was no carbon monoxide present in his blood, and the blood alcohol test came back with a result of 0%. Everything suggested Steve's death was not due to a simple accident, but something far more calculated and sinister. Detectives now had more reason to believe that this was no random tragedy. The pieces were beginning to fall into place. Investigating Kim Rico, Detective Joe Gamble was determined to find the truth, but the inconsistencies in Kim Rico's story were troubling. Kim had claimed that she and Steve were trying to salvage their marriage. but friends of the couple revealed that Steve had never smoked cigars, a detail Kim had not mentioned. This discrepancy raised suspicion. To dig deeper, investigators re-interviewed Kim. During this second round of questioning, she seemed increasingly nervous. When asked about the findings from the autopsy, Kim appeared surprised and defensive. She quickly ended the interview, requesting an attorney. This sudden shift in behavior was not lost on the investigators. Seeking further insight into Kim's actions, police reached out to people close to the couple. They learned that Kim had been having an affair, and that her marriage with Steve was on the verge of falling apart. A crucial conversation surfaced where Kim had jokingly offered a colleague $50,000 to have her husband killed. The implications of this conversation, combined with her increasingly suspicious behavior, painted a dark picture of Kim's possible involvement in Steve's death. Forensic breakthrough. The investigation took a major turn when detectives learned that Kim had been a surgical technician with access to a powerful drug, succinylcholine. This muscle relaxant, commonly used in surgeries, could be deadly if administered improperly. The drug paralyzes the body, including the diaphragm, leading to suffocation, an ideal method for murder without leaving obvious signs of foul play. Although toxicology tests failed to detect succinylcholine in Steve's body, detectives knew the drug's effects were transient, breaking down quickly in the body. This made it nearly impossible to find traces in a routine test. But the knowledge that Kim had access to this drug, and had once jokingly mentioned using it to put Steve to sleep, became a significant lead. With a clearer focus on Kim, investigators returned to the crime scene to search for more evidence. They combed through the resort, hoping to find a syringe or drug vial that might have been discarded. Though their initial search yielded nothing, it wasn't long before a hotel employee discovered a discarded syringe in the grass near the resort. The evidence, though promising, still lacked concrete proof that the drug had been used to kill Steve. But the path toward uncovering the truth was becoming clearer. The truth revealed, the investigation reached a critical point when forensic analysis confirmed that the syringe found near the resort contained no traces of Steve's blood or succinylcholine. Yet as detectives continued to dig deeper into Kim's past, they found a disturbing motive for murder. 2 life insurance policies worth 200 zlotys, which Kim stood to inherit upon her husband's death. This financial windfall, combined with her affair and the troubled marriage, painted a clear picture of motive. The final breakthrough came when investigators linked the cigars found in the hotel room to Kim. A store clerk recalled her buying the same brand of cigars just hours before Steve's death, a detail Kim had previously denied. This, along with the mounting circumstantial evidence, convinced police that Kim had staged the scene to make it look like a tragic accident. With the evidence pointing directly at her, Kim Rico was arrested and charged with the murder of her husband. She had injected Steve with succinylcholine, paralyzing him, and then set the room on fire to cover up the crime. Her motive was greed and the desire to move forward with her affair without the burden of her marriage. In the end, the investigation revealed the chilling truth behind Steve Rico's death, and Kim was sentenced to life in prison for her role in the brutal murder. What do you think? Could Kim Rico have really been behind her husband's death, or was there more to the story than we know? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this investigation as chilling as we did, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on our next deep dive into a true crime mystery. And make sure to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Don't miss our next video, How a Secret Affair Led to One of the Most Bizarre Crimes Ever? Coming soon!